Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome world. It is Creative Perceptionz podcast. My name is Zachary Rogers. I'll be your host. It's been a minute. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's later on in the script, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been struggling to create content. Just been lazy, self-doubt, lack of confidence. And to be honest, my perspective was wrong. I was kind of focusing on getting numbers and getting views and getting paid. But listen, you got to start somewhere. So I do apologize for those who have subscribed. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you have not. But those who have been subscribed to the show, please subscribe. Listen, I'm just trying to deliver good content. I'm not gonna lie. I've had this stint or period where I'm trying to be viral, get this money because of all the influencers, but I'm not there yet, and I don't even know if I'll ever get there. But I just want to make content that I love. So welcome to Creative Perceptionz, where your dreams meet your reality. Obviously we want to get guests back in here, which we will for this season. Technically, I'm not gonna lie, my season list is out of order, so whenever you see it on YouTube, please click and subscribe and like, and then whenever you see the episode in the season, that is where we are. Please just believe me. To my left, I have my little doggy, my little side roadie, Zoe. Hey, what's up, Bubba? Alright, so if she barks, please don't get upset. But, we're pet friendly over here at Creative Perceptionz. The first puppy of Creative Perceptionz. Shout out to you, Bop. Alright, so today, quick wrap around the world report. I'm not going to cover all sports. I'm going to touch on the WNBA slightly, and I'm going to touch slightly on the NFL, only because July 31st marks the Hall of Fame game, which technically I should have went to. I used to work in recruitment for admissions, and I definitely had the opportunity to go, but I was kind of being a team player, and I let another counselor go. Shout out to Delaware State University, where it all matters. But shout out to the alma mater, the national treasure, Morgan State University, where we're growing the future and leading the world. My hands were supposed to do the movement, but it didn't work out. But forgive me later. All right, so WNBA teams. So for those who may not know, the WNBA is expected and projected to grow to 18 teams by 2030. Originally, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, she was going to grow the league to 16 teams by 2028, but she has surpassed that. I mean, she has been catching a lot of stray bullets and a lot of slack. Zoe, what are you doing? Come here, you're supposed to be my co-host, not licking yourself on camera. But anyway, she has surpassed that. Now she is at 18. So by 2030, we're supposed to have Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. I wrote about this article about a month ago when it released on www.heavy.com under Zachary Rogers. Please check that out if you want to. Right now, in terms of the standings for the WNBA, we have the Minnesota Lynx, who unfortunately lost in the WNBA Finals last season. Definitely was pulling for them. We have the New York Liberty, who won their first championship in franchise history. Shout out to Teaspoon and that first team that took them to the finals way back when. We have the Phoenix Mercury with the Unicorn, Alyssa Thomas, Kalia Copper. They are super stacked and loaded. We have the Seattle Storm, who are kind of tweaking and they're peaking at the same time, with Nneka Ogwumike, with Skylar Diggins, who dropped the Smith, Gabby Williams, and they have a pretty fronted low line. So we're interested to see what the Storm does, because they are technically a champ. They can contend for a championship, but they've been kind of going up and down the spectrum, so to speak. We have the Atlanta Dream, who've rediscovered the three-point. They're kind of battling injury. Obviously, you have people in and out. Ryan Howard out of the lineup every here and there. You have Jordan Canada, who's kind of out of the lineup every here and there. So and then Alicia Gray is having a career season, but it's kind of I hate to say it, but they're hitting that inconsistent peak right now. But it is a long season, and there's so much more to go. So we're not going to fault it. The Indiana Fever, who are on a 3-game winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. Caitlin Clark is still out with a groin injury, but Ari McDonald has been carrying the team amongst the others. Sophia Cunningham, Lexi Hall, and then of course Aaliyah Boston in the paint, really providing that dominant force. But the Fever are kind of learning how to play without Caitlin Clark, which is, I think, something that they needed. You have the Las Vegas Aces, who we thought they were the closest thing to a repeat or a three-peat since the Houston Comets, who actually won the championship 4 times in a row. But they have kind of struggled. Jewel Lloyd, she actually came off the bench for the first time in a while. So the Las Vegas Aces are kind of trying to figure that out. So we'll see if they can kind of rebound. And then you have the Washington Mystics, who actually weren't expected to be there. New GM, new head coach, 2 rookie phenomenons. They made the All-Star team for the first time since the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. So the Washington Mystics are a team to beat. Sonia Citron, and you have Kiki Ariafine. You have Brittany Sykes. You have Shakira Austin. They have a pretty good frontal look. I hate to say frontal look. I don't want to sound like a science nerd. But they have a pretty good core in Washington, D.C. It just depends on how they're going to develop that team. But they are an 8th. So if the playoffs started today, they would play the Lynx. That might be a smooth women's scrape. And then the Liberty and the Las Vegas Aces would play each other. Not saying the Las Vegas Aces would lose or get swept, and I'm not saying the Liberty would sweep them, because that is actually would be an interesting matchup. Stewie is currently out with a leg injury. Jonquel Jones is kind of getting reacclimated back into the lineup. You have Asia Wilson. Excuse me. You have Asia Wilson, who's balling. She's not necessarily showing MVP numbers, but she is showing that she's still not the face of the league. There's an argument there. They think people, there's some people that say Caitlin Clark is the face. Sophia Cunningham said, if you don't think Caitlin Clark is the face, you're a dummy. So I might be a dummy. I mean, Caitlin Clark is the face. However, it's a forced face. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Caitlin Clark. She can hoop. She can score at all 3 levels. She is bringing excitement to the league. She's bringing her fan base to the league. However, she's been hurt. You can't be the face if you're not accessible. I mean, she's currently the face because that is the agenda. Let's just call it what it is. However, Asia Wilson is balling at an all-time level, but the Aces are kind of struggling right now. The Fever would take on the Mercury. That would be a very interesting matchup with or without Caitlin Clark. Obviously, you want Caitlin Clark in the lineup, but that would be a good matchup. Alyssa Thomas, Satu Sabali, Kalia Copper. That would be a good matchup. So I would be interested to see who would come out of that slugfest. Then you would have the Storm and the Dream. That is heartbreaking because either one of those could technically be a championship contender. I would lean more towards the Storm. But that is what would happen if the playoffs started today. So, real quick, as we go into our segment and as we wrap up the World Wraparound Report, I want to apologize because I really haven't had a podcast or a segment in a long time. Please forgive me for my pajama pants. I watched Happy Gilmore 1 and 2 this week. Happy Gilmore 1 and 2, phenomenal. Sorry I was late to the party with 1, but 2 was phenomenal. Shout out to Adam Sandler. I know you really won't see this, but phenomenal film. Laughed the whole time. Girlfriend fell asleep on me. Yeah. But sorry for kind of the delay in content. I've been kind of down. I'm not going to lie. Mental health is real. Please take care of your mental health. Please make sure you're taking care of your self-care awareness. But at the same time, you kind of get inside of your head and you kind of forget what you're passionate about. So I had to kind of get back on this high horse. So I apologize for the delay. I want to be consistent moving forward. I want to at least aim to do an episode once a week. So yeah, I definitely want to apologize. I want to focus on the brand, etc. So as you may know, with the current political regiment, there's a lot of budget cuts, whether it's grants, federal funding, Title III, the whole 9. So for those who are going to college, those who want to aspire to go to college, get scholarships, grants, and funding, please still apply. Obviously, the trajectory is changing every day, but please apply to scholarships and grants. Also, it is no longer okay for you to go to school or for you to apply without test scores. Please take the SAT or ACT if your school is test optional. Yes, test optional seems like a flashy option, but there are certain clauses. If you apply test optional, you are not, for some schools, you are not eligible for scholarships. So please review the fine print. Shout out to Phi Beta Sigma, where scholarship is important. I'm part of the Lambda Delta Sigma chapter in Newcastle, Delaware. But in all seriousness though, check out scholarships, really read the applications, really read the fine print. Yes, we want to go to college. Yes, we want to be empowered, but you want to be academically and economically free once you graduate. You do not want to have any debt. Gratefully, I had my mother who served all 20 years in the military, and she received her benefits, and I was able to use the GI Bill. Granted, I still had some loans, but I don't have a lot of loans compared to other people. Do not take out loans unless you absolutely have to. Take advantage of all scholarship opportunities where you can apply for it. You should be applying for scholarship every year. And then also, for my people who may not be focused on school, if you are struggling financially, like I am, show of hands, I'm struggling. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I wasn't doing the podcast, because I'm like, look, I have to make this coin. But in all seriousness, though, you still have to do what you love. But if you're struggling financially, consider an Uber, consider a DoorDash, consider an Instacart, consider looking at Craigslist for all the opportunities that you can do. Consider something that dives into your passion. If you're in the higher education realm like I am, you better adjunct until you can't adjunct anymore, because we have to make these. We build, at the end of the day, nothing but the rent is due on the first of the month, so keep doing it. In terms of DEI, it's funny because I used to really be, oh my God, they're cutting DEI, and like still I cringe, but the reality is, in no specific order, we as black and brown people, we kind of over-exaggerate when it comes to the DEI. Let me not say over-exaggerate, but we don't necessarily read the fine print. According to a survey by CNN, white women, LGBTQIA+++, families who need IVF, and disabled people and veterans are the top. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the top 5 categories that qualify for DEI. I'm not saying DEI is not important. However, if you're going to focus on DEI, really know who is benefiting from the DEI. So whether you're black and brown, whatever your hue is or whatever your tone is, apply for these jobs. Yes, there may be some discrimination. Yes, there may be some narcissism. Yes, there may be some favoritism. Whatever you want to call it, still apply, because at the end of the day, there's a quota that the business wants to meet. And if you have the skill set, that's what they're looking for. Yes, you want to network, and sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. But please, still apply for these jobs. Do not fall into the DEI, because what's happening is we're starting to get into a media frenzy where we believe everything that's on media, and we're not reading articles, we're not reading textbooks, we're not reading journals. So we have to read. And trust me, I fall into that category in some instances, but let's start reading and let's start getting engaged. Zoe, are you with me still? You sleep? You a lazy co-host. Alright, sorry, she sleep. And then also, let's talk about the black dollar. I was reading the Tulsa Massacre and how we were really like on top to have lawyers, real estate, business owners, pharmacies, like the whole nine, and then it got burned down, unfortunately, because our counterparts were frustrated due to the racial climate at that time. However, years have passed, but the same patterns still occur. But as of now, reports are saying that the black dollar stays in the community for 6 hours. 6 hours tops. Why is that? I was listening to a podcast on the native land. Shout out to Angela Rye, shout out to Andrew Gilliam, and shout out to Tiffany Cross. If I mispronounced your name, Andrew, I'm so sorry. But at the end of the day, the black dollar only stays in the neighborhood for 6 hours. But at the same time, in their podcast today, they were just talking about the For Us, By Us, which is technically the FUBU acronym, which I did have some apparel on FUBU. The designs could have been better, but I had it. But why is it that we don't shop in black and brown areas? Why is it that, yes, some of the complaints may be, oh, they don't communicate, oh, their packaging is late, oh, they don't do things in a timely order. But why is it that when we shop in other ethnical backgrounds that are not us, we're providing passes for them? If we shop at Ralph Lauren, if we shop at Target, if we shop at Gucci, if we shop at Burberry, if they give us a nasty experience, we'll be frustrated, but then we'll chalk it up and we'll just go to another one. Why is that? Why do we put so much pressure on us as black and brown people? I would encourage people, one quote was, still, it's no myth that 43 million black people in the U.S. have about 1.6 trillion in spending power. According to a Nestle study, Couple that fact with documented spending habits. Black folk own goods and services provided by companies we don't own, and it doesn't take a PhD or multi-year survey to know that so much of black wealth misses black businesses and black service providers. What does that quote mean? I'm sorry if I kind of jumbled that. That was just a lot, and then I was frustrated. But why is it that we are able to give other companies that are not black and brown passes, but we don't give ourselves grace? Yes, there should be exemplary customer service. Yes, obviously we should get things shipped on time. Yes, if you tell me something that's going to happen, I expect it to happen. But the same thing occurs in other businesses. Why do we give them grace but we don't give ourselves grace? Is it the crabs in a barrel mentality? Is it the we all can't eat at the same time mentality? Or is it that we have to one-up each other, which is still the same as the crabs in a barrel mentality? So I would implore you, spend something black. Yes, it's cool to shop black. Yes, it's cool to post it on Instagram. But let's live it. Because the reality is that we support each other economically, socially, emotionally, mentally, and holistically, we can't be stopped. We stop the blueprint. Because without the black dollar, America will crumble. So I would just implore you to really consider where your spending dollars are going. And again, it's not a racial propaganda or agenda. It's just a legit question. Why do we give so much grace to other communities when it comes to us shopping from them, but then when we mess up, we want to throw ourselves away? Let's be focused. And then also, in this time in the economy, depending on whether you're in education, whether you're in healthcare, whether you don't have a high school diploma, an associate's degree, wherever you are, artificial intelligence, also known as AI, is going to take over. So what I would encourage you to do, start your own business. The one thing that my dad always implores me, and I'm not going to lie, he's going to see this and he's going to be upset. He's going to be like, oh, how's he talking about me like this? My dad used to get on my nerves. Start your own business. Start your own business. And he would say it, but he wouldn't explain why. But now I understand. Listen, there's no need to, obviously you have 9 to 5s. There's going to be people that have to work it. However, if you're somebody who is an entrepreneur, you have a dream, you have a vision, you want to do your own thing, you're tired of working for people, that's cool. But utilize the job that you're working at to provide your dream and your resource. So build your own business, but use the job that you're currently at to build it to the point where you can start to be self-sufficient. Even if you're not a good businesswoman or good businesswoman or man, start your own business just to say something that you have for ownership. Generational wealth, yes, it's paintings, yes, it's housing, yes, it's businesses, yes, it's buildings, but it's also businesses as well. So I would implore you to start your own business. And then also, as I wrap up today, I just want to say thank you for listening. Please, again, subscribe, like, and share. But my highlights for black and brown businesses are going to be support Don on the Diamond, my friend Dondre Yon. Support Delonte Eats, my good old frat brother and friend. Delonte, shout Westworld Photography, my good friend Wes in Dover, Delaware, both him and Delonte. And then shout my father, DLR PDS. And shout out to all black and brown businesses. Let's stay together. If you are an entrepreneur, if you are an artist, if you're somebody who wants to get your vision or your message out, reach out to me and let's link up so we can get you on the pod. Welcome to Creative Perceptionz, where your dreams meet your reality. I'm gone.